Hello there, welcome to our webinar today, where we will be covering project insights for data-driven decisions. A few logistics that we'll cover. I just want to let you know that we will be answering questions throughout the Q&A panel and the chat line, but we will be muting the lines from an audio perspective. Also, if you do get pulled away during the webinar or get distracted, don't worry, we will be distributing a webinar recording for everyone to access later today. Okay, so first I wanted to just set the framework of business intelligence within the modern organizations and how it has evolved. So the first two waves of business intelligence were geared more towards the technical user. So the first wave being highly technical and highly expensive, complex systems that were available to IT, and they were required in order to provide that information to the business. And then in the second wave, there started to be more of a self-service offering within the BI platforms, but really that still relied heavily on analysts and getting that information to the end business user. And what we're seeing with today, BI really needs to extend to everyone throughout the organization. In order to become a truly data-driven decision-making organization, everyone needs access to the data in a timely manner, and it needs to be easily accessible and tailored towards the user themselves. But in order to achieve that third evolution of BI, there are some challenges and consistent challenges that we've seen across organizations. The first being data residing in disparate locations. So when you have data in a variety of different database engines or applications, it's difficult to consolidate all of that data in order to get a centralized view. And so in order to understand that complete picture of how your business is doing, that took a lot of work and a lot of complex work from the IT staff in order to get that information to you. And to add to that with the cloud movement and moving to more software as a service applications, this just adds to the complexity there. So now you've got systems that are on-premise, you've got systems that are in the cloud, and being able to consolidate and have access to real-time information is difficult. And last but not least, each role has a different need. And so if you were to generate a report for a financial analyst, it may look very different than generating a report for a business executive. And so organizations really need to lessen the time that's spent on generating these reports manually. And then also they need real-time information. So these business users can't wait for an analyst to create these reports or wait for a database engine to build a cube. You know, they need information right away, real-time information, and tailored to their specific need. So what if instead of having an organization or a view to your data that's a database with complex views or Excel with data overload? I see organizations just drowning in Excel files and reports, which is very difficult to translate into meaning. And this is key because the whole reason that you're collecting all of this data is to be able to make something of it and make decisions based off of it. So when all I'm seeing is a bunch of cells and tables, it really doesn't mean a lot to me from a business end user. So a lot of organizations took it to the next step, you know, with Excel add-ons and what we call Excel on steroids, which is a good step in the right direction. It does allow you to put together more visuals and more consumable data for your audience. But what we would recommend and what we feel organizations are going to need to do in order to compete in today's market is take it the next step further. So what if you could view your data in this type of format where it's visual, I can consume it, I understand it, I don't have to be a rocket science in order to make decisions based off of what I'm looking at. And this is what we call actionable insights. And in addition to that, what if I could view not only my current state or how I'm doing today, but what if I could view how I'm doing today in context to how was I doing yesterday? And I see this type of trend analysis really important when you're looking at project management information, because organizations really want to understand how the health of the project is doing in context to history. So we want to know if we're getting worse. We want to know if we're getting better so that we can act on the projects that we need to take action on. So let's take this one step further. Now that you have this analysis of your historical trends, take it a step further to become more proactive and have the ability to, through an intelligence engine on the back end, predict and forecast where you're going. So not only do I know where am I today, I understand where I was yesterday, and based off of that information, it's going to help me understand where I might be tomorrow if I don't make any changes. So this is really important. This is taking information and data elements from your enterprise software solutions and giving you information that can truly drive results within your organization. And in addition, now that we have all this data, what if you could easily share it? So take the concept of having to send an email or share an Excel file in a SharePoint site or a shared drive. Now I can have access to a single source of the truth and share this information with people that are going to be value from the same information I was just working within. So if I've generated this nice status report for my team, I can share that with my executive team and my peers so that they have visibility into that as well. And again, coming to the proactive model of making data-driven decisions, be alerted whenever you exceeded a threshold that was important to you. And that's really important because it's important to you, not just necessarily the entire organization or an entire team. This allows you to incorporate personalization into the mix so that you have the ability to gain visibility as soon as you think it's important and make decisions based off of that. I can't tell you how many times I've heard customers complain about having to generate status reports or status presentations over and over and over again manually. And by the time I've manually created that presentation, it's already out of date. So what if you could embed those live data feeds and dashboards into the familiar tools that you're used to using from a productivity standpoint every day, like PowerPoint? I can refresh this. I can make sure that it is the single source of the truth. It is I'm gaining data integrity and trust in what I'm presenting to my executive stakeholders. Taking it a step further, when we talked about the evolution of BI, we talked about the reliance on IT and analysts in order to give us the information and help us translate that information into something that's meaningful to me. What if I could just type in a search for whatever I'm looking to find out? For example, if I want to know the average work variance by the different projects that I'm managing and visualize that in a pie chart, if I could just type that in, or take it a step further, what if I could just speak to Cortana and have her convert that information into text, which then provides me the information in a format that's meaningful to me and I can pin to my own dashboard. And last but not least, obviously, you have all of this information that's super important and helping you make key business decisions throughout the day. And you can do this on any device. So you have access to this information on any device, whether you're heading to the airport and need to access a report from your mobile phone or your tablet. All of this is accessible across multiple devices. So I wanted to make sure that we shared a few key aspects that we feel enable organizations to get to that level 3 evolution of business intelligence and really meeting the needs of today's modern workforce. And first is stop thinking reports. You know, people spend a lot of time building one report that is meeting the needs of one specific resource or one specific group of resources. That's valuable, yes, but now you have to create a new report for another set of resources. Thinking in the mindset of data sets instead of reports sets you up for a much more scalable platform that can meet the needs of a variety of end users based off of their role and still provide them with a single source of the truth, real-time data, and analysis that's going to allow them to really understand what types of decisions that need to be made in order to drive efficiency within their organization. The next one is think Pinterest, not Outlook. So instead of emailing a report or emailing information or emailing a link, allow organizations or resources to come to one centralized source of business intelligence information across multiple systems and set it up in a visual way and allow them to personalize it for themselves. So instead of building a report for that one person and spending a lot of time on that report, allow them to do it themselves. Allow them to pin information that's relevant to them to their personalized dashboard. And last but not least, learn to tell a complete digital story. Regardless of your role in the organization, and regardless of how many systems that you're working within on your day-to-day activities and managing projects and work, you want to have one single source of the truth, one single application, one single user experience. And you want to tell this whole story in a 360-degree view of your business within that one business intelligence platform. Forcing people and executives to go to 5 different systems in order to see 5 different reports, in order to drill into 5 different dashboards, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of frustration, and it's unnecessary. So really learn to have that full picture from that one system and one experience. So today we're introducing Project Insights. And Project Insights is a cloud-based project analytics solution that is really geared towards helping organizations from a project management standpoint get to that level 3 capability of the evolution of BI, allowing the 360-degree view of your entire project portfolio, a full mobile experience across any device, easily accessible and tailored to your specific need as whatever role you sit within the organization. And so really, it's allowing organizations to take project data and become data-driven project PMOs or professional services organizations. Power BI is Microsoft's new business intelligence platform. And our Project Insights platform is built on Power BI, and a lot of the core capabilities that I mentioned earlier are built within the Power BI platform. The ability to perform natural language querying, sharing and collaboration, and visualizations. All of this is built within the Power BI platform. So Project Insights takes these capabilities that are being leveraged from Power BI and allows you to take project information, and instead of being consumed with trying to look at 500 or 1,000 projects and understand which ones need to be focused on, it allows you to clear that clutter and really focus on what means the most to you at that point in time. And I say that means most to you as whatever role you are within the organization. So now you have the ability to really stay in the know and understand how am I currently doing, in addition to being able to understand how you're doing in context to yesterday and what the system is projecting for you tomorrow. So this is really where you're going to become a truly data-driven project management office in order to drive your business success. And at Tivitie, we have a very long history of working within the project management and professional services space. And we definitely do not believe in starting from scratch. So what we've done is, as part of our Insights solution, is incorporated experience that we've had from a best practices standpoint into our report packs. So this allows organizations to really accelerate that time to value and not spend a bunch of wasted time recreating the wheel. It really gives everybody that launch pad that they can start from and start getting value much sooner than if you were to start from scratch. So I'm going to take you through the different categories of our report pack before I turn it over to Joe so that you can see this live and in action. So the first piece here is really understanding the demand. What is all of the demand that's coming in to your project portfolio, and how is that going to affect all of those projects that are in execution already? Next, visibility into the entire portfolio and the status of that portfolio, allowing you to, again, manage by exception and be proactive, understanding the health and where you need to target your corrective actions for any projects that are in trouble. In addition, as I mentioned, we have the trend analysis. So this is going to allow you to understand not only how you're doing today, but how you were doing yesterday. And then you can take it even a step further, obviously, with the predictive analytics that will forecast your performance based off of the past performance that you've been achieving. Financials is a key aspect of your project portfolio, and this system will allow you to track and report on the actuals and forecast and planned. It will also allow you to segregate your financials if you're looking at capital versus expense, hardware versus software, internal labor versus external labor, a variety of different aspects based off of your specific organization. Resource status, this is actually one of the most requested and challenging aspects that we've seen across the majority of organizations, having to face managing with a limited capacity of resources and a great demand that's coming in on top of those resources with both project work and operational activities. So having visibility into the overall capacity versus the demand, and being able to effectively staff your activities and get the right resources on the right job to increase project performance, as well as employee morale. And as we talked about all of the planning of this work, we also have timesheet reports that will capture the actuals that have been applied towards these different activities. And with our compliance reports, it helps drive consistency and compliance of timesheet processes in order to be able to, again, highlight those exceptions of areas that need attention. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Joe so he can demonstrate to you what our Project Insights solution looks like in action.
Thank you, Michelle. Go ahead and switch my screen over here. All right, so I'm going to be walking you guys through today a demonstration of Project Insights with Power BI. So I'll be walking you through and showing you in action some of the things that Michelle just showed you guys. But before we do, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a framework around Power BI. Power BI is a Microsoft cloud-based BI and analytical tool that Microsoft released about 1.5 years or so ago. It's been probably one of the most innovative products I've seen Microsoft come out with in most recent times. Every 3 weeks or so, they're introducing new visualizations, new connectors, new capabilities. It's actually a very exciting tool. But before we jump into the Project Insight part of the product, I just want to give you a little background on the solution itself. So Power BI is either a standalone BI analytics tool, or if you own Office 365, it's fully integrated with your Office 365 environments. Over on the left-hand side, I'm going to go ahead and open up the navigation. And so you'll see here within Power BI, I have different workspaces or groups that I can work within. So I'm right now on my personal workspace. So these are my dashboards and reports. But I can also work with other teams, or maybe like project workspaces or groups. But I can actually, drill into those reports as well across my organization. But I'm going to stay here in my workspace because one of the things that we're showing here is the ability to personalize your reporting and analytics experience. And so here I'm on one of my dashboards that I've created. So what you'll see here over here, my dashboard is a bunch of pinned tiles. And so just like Pinterest, I can go through my reports that Tivitie has created through its Project Insight, and I can actually pin the reports and data that's important to me. So every person could have actually a personalized dashboard that gives them relevant data. So for example, here I'm looking at project work by ROI, by budget size here in a bubble chart. I can see project work here by size in a bar tree. bark tree, type of visualization. I may want to look at estimated cost versus my benefits. So these are all just tiles that I find very important to me. And what's nice about this dashboard is if it's a dashboard that you think somebody else in your organization might enjoy looking at or thinks is appropriate, you can easily share this information by just typing in their email address and email, and they'll have access to your dashboard, and you guys can collaborate on this information here. What's also nice about these dashboards is you can actually create alerts. So for example, as a manager, maybe I'm looking at my average project cost here starting to increase, and I want an alert if this thing gets over $25,000 on an average, average project cost. So if I wanted to say, hey, add an alert if projects get over $25,000, on average, please send me an email so I can address this immediately. Maybe it's a count of active issues or overdue tasks, and you can create whatever types of alerts that you want in your dashboards. What's also nice about these dashboards is the ability to kind of drill in and get additional information. So for example, here's a nice portfolio strategic bubble chart. But maybe I want to drill in and do some slicing and dicing of that information. So I've drilled in here and I can see by portfolio. I can drill into each one of those to see how well we're doing in ROI or risk or cost. And so I can kind of drill around and get additional information in these little tiles. The other thing I wanted to kind of jump into is some of the pre-built reports. So just by clicking on these tiles here, I can drill in to see information. For example, this is one of our project request or demand management reports, and here I can see all demand coming into the organization, and I can see them by priority, how it well aligns to the business, the type of request. I can see the estimated costs and benefits. I got my nice bubble chart of alignment versus prioritization. I can see how well we're spending to our drivers. So are we spending enough money to our priorities of our drivers? And then I get detail down here of my project requests and projects that are going on. What's nice about the Project Insights reporting capabilities is the ability to slice and dice the information. So if I wanted to look at just certain types of projects, for example, I only wanted to look at maintenance, internal readiness, and business analytic projects or requests, I can quickly just select those types of projects and see how well those projects align with our business. If I only want to look at certain types of drivers, so maybe I only want to look at ones that are highly aligned with our business and somewhat aligned with our business, we can quickly look at that and start to do some analysis on that as well. And to show you how this works, these are reports. So as I showed up here, there are dashboards these are information that you can pin. As you can see, I can take information here and I just simply pin that to my dashboard, so my personal dashboard or to our community dashboard. But we also have underneath that are the data sets or the reports. And so right now I'm showing you the project requests one, which is the demand management, but you may also want to look at a portfolio status. And so this is now projects that are in flight, and I may want to keep tabs on how well these projects are doing. So here's a project summary report where it gives me my portfolios of projects, some key information, as well as KPIs against all these projects. I can quickly get rolled up information, for example, how many projects are at risk, 3 projects are at risk, 22 are over budget, 22 are behind schedule. I have 7 active risks and 8 overdue issues in my portfolio. Just like the demand management and project requests report, I can actually take this information and filter it out. So as an organization, I may only want to focus in on at-risk and in-troubled projects. So I'm going to go ahead and just select my overall health here and say I want to look at red and yellow. I could drill into the portfolios if I wanted to, but I'm going to just stay here at the at-risk and projects that are in trouble. So now I got a view of my projects that are in trouble, and I could now drill in. I like, and I can look at the schedule. So now I can see there's 12 overdue milestones and 149 overdue tasks. Our duration is a variance of 2,565 days. I can drill and see some Gantt information. I can look at my cost. So I can see we have problems here, obviously, because budget is 0 and we have forecasts of almost $2 million and we've spent $155,000. I can look at cost over time. So I can actually look at how well we're planned and versus actuals. And I can take this information and I can actually drill in. So if I wanted to look at it by months, or if I want to look at it by days, or you just look at it from a quarter standpoint, these are all interactive types of reports. And so if I also want to just look at certain types of projects, so only the projects that are at risk from a cost perspective, I can see what that looks like from the at risk, or the ones that are somewhat on schedule. So you can see how interactive the reporting capabilities are. I can also drill into work information. So if I wanted to see how well we're doing with these projects that are at risk from a work perspective, as well as time here. I also can look across my portfolio at risks and issues. So I can see here having a cost exposure of $1 with probability of 25% in those at-risk projects. May also want to look at a roll-up of issues. So currently have 5 overdue issues on my at-risk and in troubled projects. So this is a really quick way to be able to see how well your portfolio is doing. What's also nice is the ability within these reports is to capture trend. So Michelle talked a little bit about being able to not only see at this point in time how well we're doing, but maybe we want to look at how well we've done in the past. So what I'm going to do here is show how I can take the same types of report and go, well, in the fourth quarter, looks like we only have 1 project at risk, 15 over budget and 5 behind schedule, but have we improved or are we getting worse? And so one of the things you can do is be able to snapshot this information for trend analysis. So you can see here quickly in the first quarter of this year, we actually had 6 projects at risk and 16 over budget and 6 behind schedule. So as we go through and look at this from a time phase standpoint, we get better. We go from the second quarter to 2 projects at risk, 16 over budget, and so forth. So you can kind of see that we are improving over time. And you can do this with all types of those same types of reports. So we have schedule, how well we've improved, cost, what's the trend look like. And so what that gets you to is a point to where you can actually get visualization to see how well overall our portfolio is performing. So you can see your overall health. We went from the first quarter from 4 that were in trouble, 2 were at risk, and 22 were doing well. As time moved on, we can quickly see now in this point in time, we only have 1 that's at risk and 27 that are doing well. So we've actually improved overall very, very well here in this portfolio. And so you can kind of drill into each area, schedules, costs, issues, work, or any other metrics that you're looking for, but allows you to really kind of get a good sense of, are we really doing better or worse as an organization? And if you're wanting to look at more data point driven information, here's another type of trend analysis of, you can see since the beginning of this year that our budget has increased. Something has happened for us to have to incur more budget, and obviously it shows here that the forecasting of the cost within a project has gone up as well. So it's probably what drove that budget. But our cost variance has gone down. So it looks like probably because of the increase of the budget, but it looks like our cost variance has gone down. So we're improving there. We also see here we have a number of late tasks have gone down. So we're improving and overall getting things done. Our issues have gone down. Number of changes have gone down, and so forth. You can get the idea of our cost performance index as well as our estimated as completions all seem to be improving. We can also take this data and start doing some more targeted types of analysis. So here's the CPI, which is your cost performance index versus your schedule performance index, and we can see we have a target area that we want to achieve. You can see we have the VoIP phones up here, but we also see we have quite a few projects at risk, but we can take a look at how well this is trending. So we can see how well were we doing at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year, right? And it's nice, you could actually take this and put it into a animation. So if you wanted to kind of show how everything kind of moved around over time, this will give you a good sense of how we've improved from the past and how we can improve going forward. But because we're capturing this information, we can also take this information and perform forecasting or predictive analytics. So one of the abilities here is to show, in this example, actual cost predictions. So as you can see, here's our actual cost. You can see our trend, but here it's actually the system is forecasting what the system thinks your actual cost will be going out into the future. And we put in a variance here of 10% of up or down. So it's basically saying this is our projection to where the actual cost will be, but it could be anywhere between here and there as well. So it kind of understands a plus or minus percentage, if you will. All right. So coming back to here, I want to show you some additional reports that we have in the system that are out of the box. Financial management is something that's really important to you. We have a financial report pack that allows you to see financial information. For example, here are your benefits that you have by portfolio. You have your costs and actual costs, and again, you can drill into all of these reports. So I'm looking at my portfolios, like cut costs. Well, maybe I only want to look at the cut cost one itself, so I can drill into the cut costs, and I can see here my benefits, goals, as well as how much I plan to spend versus I've actually spent. I can also see my trend over time for these financial reports. And obviously, as we showed earlier, we have a wide variety of different financial reports that customers are looking for, from CapEx to OpEx and things like that right here in this report pack itself. Project status. So, we talked about portfolio status of a portfolio of multiple projects, but we also have report packs for individual status for individual projects. So here's an example of a VoIP one where a project manager can pull in data from the project management system to be able to show quickly how VoIP is doing, get a description, project status, but also then drill in the details around just that project as well. So you can see here we have 80 tasks that have not started. We completed 129 of them. Fortunately, 100% of them are over scheduled or behind schedule, excuse me. Here again, we show drilling into the project costs, the project work. We can see the resource plan around the project, so we can see what was planned and what is actual. If we want to look at any issues around that project, we can see here we have one high active project or issue, as well as one medium. And here we have the 50 cents exposure risk and 25 probability on this particular risk for this project. So you see, not only do you get the portfolio level information within the report pack, you can actually drill into the projects themselves and get the details at the project level. Now, resources are always a big question for our organization. Is, do we have the right people working on the right jobs? What's our allocation or capacity? And so we have a report pack that quickly lets you look into the data itself and get visualization of that information. So here you can quickly see we don't have a lot of people working at this time. We have 89% availability. We can see where people are planned to work, what types of projects. We have a lot of people working on programs and our services types of work. And you see overall work versus capacity here. We also can see how many people are pending requests for resources and how much work is being pended. So we probably want to get on this and get people signed, because we don't have a lot of people working really well right now. So we might want to assign these pending approvals to people. Just like in the other reports we've talked about, you can take this information and slice it and dice it. So you can actually look at how well my resources are doing on a specific portfolio. You can also look at it by role. So maybe I just want to look at the QA and support team and how well they're being allocated. And so you can actually take all this information and slice it the way that makes the most sense for you. And you can drill in from there and look at things like utilization, availability, commitment versus planned. So here's showing what we committed to, then this is what we're planning to, and this is what we're actually achieving towards. We can look at our engagements and how well we have aligned our team to the projects, as well as even down to the tactical resource assignments. So who's working on what and when. So you see, you get from very high level resource capacity information to down into the very detailed of who's working on what and when. After forecasting information, obviously knowing where people are spending time is very important for some organizations. So we also have a timesheet analyzer report pack. Allows you to get visibility into all your timesheet information. So here's a dashboard view of some of that information here. And I can quickly see how well who's spending time. So you see Daniel Williams obviously spending majority of the time, but again, filtering this information down, I can get into specifics of who worked on what, which hours are being waiting or sitting for approval. So I can do some compliance reports. So there's timesheets, 9 timesheets in progress, 8 of them are pending approval, and 6 are approved. So you can get some information on that as well. I can get into billable versus non-billable, so I can see how much work is being done that we can't bill to our customers. And so here we just got some additional reports, non-working time as well, so administrative, sick, vacation. So we also have that here as well. Now, to create these reports and to modify them, they're all open source in the sense of once you get the report pack, you guys can do whatever you want. We offer a training class to help get you trained up on Power BI. But creating a report is really easy. So I'll actually go from starting from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and grab like a project request. So here I have a blank slate here, and let's just say quickly I want to look at obviously a project name, and I want to look at estimated benefits, and I want to look at it by, let's say, by project type. And so I quickly have just added in some columns here. So you can see I have a nice little table, shows me what's going on here. But I can also easily switch this over. So if I want to look at a pie chart or a bar chart, so this is how easy it is for end users to come in here on the web and be able to take this information and build out the reports that they need. Another way people can get information is just simply just asking a question in Power BI. So I'm going to come back up to my dashboard here, and I'm not going to save this report. And I'm going to just come up here to the top, and I'm going to say, hey, I need to know what the average work variances are by project. So I say, hey, show me the average work variance. And you'll see here as I'm typing, it's already starting to think for me and saying, okay, what do you, I think you're saying work variance here, or maybe you're saying something else. Maybe you're wanting to look at cost. So, but I can quickly just see here, just work variance by project name, right? And so what you'll see here is the system will quickly build out this report. So you'll notice here down below, it's showing me a bar chart here with each project and their variances of work. But maybe I want to look at it differently. Maybe I want to see by pie. Let me show me by pie. I want to look at it by pie. So you can quickly see how easy it is for me to just type in a question like it is in Bing or Google, and then be able to get the information you need. And once you get the information you need, all you need to do is just pin this to your dashboard. So now I'll say this is something I like. Let's go ahead and just pin this to my existing dashboard. And now this is a report I will get every time I look at my dashboard. Now, if you're using Windows 10 or Cortana, you can actually ask Cortana, so you don't even have to type this information. You could actually just say, hey, Cortana, show me the average work variance by project by name, and it will actually appear up on your screen. So this kind of just wraps up the high level of the power of Project Insights with Power BI. Love to show you more if you're interested. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us, and I will turn it over to Michelle.
Thanks, Joe. We hope you enjoyed the presentation today, and please feel free to sign up for a trial at www.tivitie.com.